be curious because not all data is created equal and not all data is measured in the same way, even when you're working with similar competitive platforms.
Hello and welcome to the Shiny New Object podcast. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, the creative effectiveness ad tech platform. And this is a podcast about the future of data-driven marketing. Every week or so, I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing one of our industry's leaders about their vision for the future of data-driven marketing. And this week is no different. I'm on a call, Riverside thing. Is this a call? I don't know. Anyway, Carly Morris, the newly appointed global head of acquisition and growth at Microsoft Advertising. So for Carly, for anyone who doesn't know who you are and what you do, can you give us a quick bit of background?
Yeah, sure. And first, thank you for having me. Very excited to be on the podcast. So I am originally from New York. I live outside of London now, and I've been in this wonderful industry, I'd say, since I was a paid search intern in 2006. I've been at Microsoft the last 10 years of my career, helping to build out their media and ad tech solutions.
Hold on, you've gone from being a PPC intern to global head of acquisition and growth in 10 years. So
no, 2006.
Oh, right. Sorry,
2006 was the internship, but 10 years at Microsoft. Yeah, sorry. I skipped a few of the resume.
Yeah, it's actually, that's not very good after you.
Yeah. It took some time. I put in my years, paid my dues. But yes, and now I lead growth and acquisition at Microsoft. So focused on bringing in net new advertisers new to the platform, helping us just build our base. We've been a search shop forever, and now's the time to change that. So it's pretty exciting.
That is a tough gig, mate. I work in sales. I can't imagine how much of a challenge that is, but congrats on the new gig.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, so in that 20-year career, from PPC intern to head of absolutely everything, what new belief or behavior has improved your work life?
Yes. So I would say, like many people, it was a bit forced upon me once I had two small children, since they change you, they force you to reevaluate. When I was younger, in those early years, I probably gave too much of myself to my job, and now it's just not possible. So my new belief is knowing thyself. And I know that seems pretty simple, but it means like, when do you work best? When are you most creative, right? So many people I'm sure have read like Eat the Frog First. Are you most patient in the morning? Are you most creative in the morning? I never really took the time to care or think about it. You're typically just on everybody else's schedule and doing what's asked of you. But, I've found even sometimes on a Sunday afternoon, if I have a break and a new cup of coffee, I'm actually able to focus because I've had 2 days away from my inbox, right? I've had 2 days to not think about work. So as I close out my weekend, I might actually have some of my best ideas. So I'm really trying to focus on like what works for me. And of course, I'm very lucky. I have a lot of flexibility in when I can work and adjust to my family work life. But I think getting to know who I am and how I do things best has been a game changer for me in setting those boundaries between my work and my personal life.
I remember my daughter's 7, and when she was born, I spoke to Nathan McDonald, my old boss at We're Social, and I said, right, you did Real Social, sold it. How did you do that with a family? And he's like, you've got to trust your subconscious. Yes. So take it all in, be a sponge, and then just assume that your brain's going to work out by the time you have to make a decision or do a thing. Whereas when you don't have the kids thing, you're like, well, I'm going to work till 9 o'clock at night, or do you know what? I'll pop over my laptop on Saturday or whatever, and you can just sort of crunch through it. But I was like, all right, okay, well, I'm not completely thick, so I'll just let the stuff that I can't control work on the problem. And it sounds like you have a similar approach.
Totally. You just have to kind of know that it's not always going to happen. Like sometimes I sit in a meeting, I'm not trying to be the most outspoken. I'm not trying to always have the most, creative point, because it might not come to me right then. I'm still taking it in. Like you said, you're still absorbing. you can always follow up. You can always bring a new idea to someone later on and have a great conversation about it. So it's putting less pressure on myself to always be at everything and have that, big idea or new thing to work on in every single meeting. It might come to me 2 weeks later, and that's okay. It's progress over perfection.
I've been thinking a bit recently about, you're obviously motivated, you're obviously ambitious, you obviously have a strong work ethic, and but not everyone has. You can't assume that all of your competition are all totally on it and they're amazing and they have amazing work-life balance and they go to the gym at 4 a.m. and they sleep. No, they're hungover and bored and don't like their people they work with and their whatever but actually you're bringing the best version of yourself whenever it happens. Sometimes people got a lot better than what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely. And I
hope. I don't have no doubt on that, but maybe that's something I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. So we're going to move on now to your best bit of data-driven marketing advice.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what is that? What do you find yourself sharing with folk on this topic?
Yes. I was thinking a lot about that because I wanted to think of something different that no one else has said. But, I've worked in performance marketing a very long time, and working at Microsoft, you can imagine we have so much data. The thing I'd tell people is be curious, because not all data is created equal and not all data is measured in the same way, even when you're working with similar competitive platforms. We talk about this a lot, and I think it's even more important with the emergence of AI and how we're processing data and LLMs. Like, two platforms that do very similar things. They even could be competing and out there in marketing saying they have the same value prop. They might be processing data differently. Their lag times might be different. Their match rates might be calculated in different ways. And I see this often where our customers and partners, they're looking at us and they're comparing us apples to apples, but at night, it might not always be. So I always recommend folks ask, how is data processed? How does your algorithm learn, right? How is your AI learning? What is the period that you best recommend for it to learn? You can't always compare data across different platforms, different marketing types, different media in the same ways. But I think, it's tough. We're all super busy in this industry and everybody needs to just get their data presented to them and compare and who's got the best rates and who's got the best value and et cetera and so on. But I think if you really want to understand where your data is coming from, how it's processed, how it's measured, how it might differ, what's the, algorithm lead time, like all those things are actually really important to understanding if you're getting the best performance, not just reading a data as it's presented to you surface value.
Good point. Right. So now we are going to move on to your shiny new object.
Yes.
I really want to get into this one. It's people-centric leadership in an AI evolution. So it sounds very good. I know we agreed on it. It sounds very grand.
Yeah.
I know. What do you mean by that?
Someone in marketing call in and give us a better name for it. What I mean is something that I'm very passionate about right now is I think when you look at marketing and ad tech right now, you look at the world of AI, everybody is afraid, AI is going to take over, computers are going to do our jobs. You look across the marketing ad tech industries, we're seeing lots of layoffs, lots of reorgs. It just feels like there's so much margin pressure. And what I often see happening in organizations is that they default to extrinsic motivators, right? They default to just looking at revenue. They default to pay and bonuses and revenue as goals. And all the stuff that we as leaders always believed in before, right? All the stuff around culture and intrinsic motivators and enablement and education and just general happiness seems to be the first thing to go, even though we all believe that, happy employees work harder, happy employees produce more. So I'm on a quest to ensure, and maybe it's not entirely new, but that in this emergence of AI and technology, people still stay at the center, because we are the ones that are bringing in those innovations and ideas and moving, the technology along.
Yeah, because I guess the worst version of that is just AI search, isn't it? It's just like, where should I put my marketing quid do me a pros and cons list with the data. And go back to your earlier point that you'd have Microsoft advertising versus whoever else. And they're like, oh, right, okay, there's the best ROI at the end. Cool, let's go and hire those people. But as you say, misses all the nuance, misses the context, and humans probably, I think you're saying, are the people to deliver that.
Yes.
That crucial bit of data that goes alongside the numerical data, right? What signs are you seeing that the spreadsheet people are taking over and forgetting the soft stuff?
Well, again, I think a lot of margin pressure and layoffs in our industry are a leading indicator. Again, when you look at it from the creative marketing side, everyone has become a lot more bottom funnel, right? We're all trying to please the CFO instead of the CMO, trying to ensure that the ROI is at peak and at the lowest cost. And sure, a computer could probably do that if that's all you care about. But, are you having those ideas that actually connect with humans, right? Like, is the work that you're doing, is the marketing that you're driving, are you creating and connecting with humans? And that's only going to come from employees who have space to be creative, who have space to think, who feel stable in their environment of work, who don't feel, worried that a bot is going to take their job tomorrow, right? If you want to really build human connections in marketing and media and ad tech, you're going to still need those creative people to do so. And we're not seeing, I think, enough fostering of that culture anymore in this industry, in my opinion.
I'm wondering if a natural yin to the yang of the high-speed, low-quality AI situation that we're in is stuff that comes back slowly. So,
yeah.
So that's a personal story. So my dad was visiting, and my wife said, right, can you think of some ideas for food? So my brain just went, right, just message my dad, like, what does your wife eat, not eat certain, needs food wise. And then I'll just whack it into ChatGPT. Before I'd even done it, my wife was like, don't use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because what she wanted was me to think about it, to care about it, to put some love into it, because she was and is and deserved the same from me. So actually, she would rather had a slow answer than that. I can be efficient, man. I can do this in 1 minute and a half. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm wondering, like, if it hasn't happened yet, but if someone comes back to me quickly, I'm going to be like, really?
Was that you? Was
well, no, I don't. Like,
was it an AI?
But like, okay, well, we're going to really think about this. So we're going to come back to you in a month. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. It's going to take a month. I don't know. Is that like, because everyone wants their fast, new, cheap, thing. So, and human nature is to swing back the other way. So what is swinging back the other way?
I think you're onto something. I'm actually just started reading a new book. I'm not very far, so don't ask me to go too much into it, but it's called How Big Things Get Done. I love leadership books. I'm such a nerd that way. But the very first chapter is titled Think Slow, Act Fast. And I think you're onto something, because that's what we're potentially missing, right? That love, that care, that personalization that builds those true connections. Again, that comes from people, that comes from having time to think and space to think. If we just want fast responses, they're not always going to be the best ones, right? If we just want fast performance, it's not necessarily going to be as big or as creative as we thought it could be. It's not going to be bold. It's not going to be ambitious. It's going to be just data-driven. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've been in performance forever. I believe in data-driven marketing. We absolutely need it to evaluate. And AI is going to help us do so much more, but we've still got to create space for that slow thinking, that creativity. And again, that's got to come from fostering environments for people to do so.
Yeah, and I just about to publish a book called Using Creativity and Data in Marketing.
Yeah.
One of the big things that came back from the research that I put like 40 interviews with at least far smarter people than me was that, yes, data-driven marketing, but it can't just be the cheap, quick, easy to get your hands on data. Sure, you can open up your whatever dashboard for any of the platforms, and like there's a deluge of data there, but that is not the same as the data of you sitting beside someone in a pub or a cafe or in store or speaking to people. It's hard, it's slow, it's expensive, you need far more of it in order for it to be robust. But you do need that, and slur that you don't get that stuff quickly, right?
Yes, and to both your examples, right? It misses that human element. It misses that real life experience. I see this all the time. I see it in my own organization right now, where leadership just looks at a bunch of data and they think that they have the answer. But they missed out on the opportunity to go ask questions, of the people doing the work, to go ask questions of the people on the front line speaking to our customers. They miss that opportunity. They just look at data. They often miss something critical. And some of the best ideas that we've had, products we've created, have come from that real deep understanding of the person and those real life lived in experiences. You're not going to get that just looking at data. You have to understand the context. You have to understand the environment. So I absolutely agree with you. Like, that human element is so crucial, and I just don't want it to get overlooked. That's my fear.
So if someone's listening to this thinking, oh my God, I'll just put confessional.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, I record all of my calls openly on. I use Otter, and what I do is, especially if it's been an important or tricky session, I'll take that and I'll put it through like a closed AI GPT thing. Going right, what did I do well? What did I do badly? And it's like, Tom, you did this. That was great. And then like, a great leader would have done it. And it's brilliant for me because it just helps me see all these things that I couldn't see. And it's like, well, next time you speak to Carly, maybe don't talk over her the whole time. That kind of and that's really helped me. But now you're talking about people-centric leadership. I'm like, oh God, like am I putting too much trust? Am I stopping using that sensitive, empathetic muscle?
Yeah. You know what? I think the data becomes a starting point. It becomes a way to fill in the gaps as you need to. But I had a similar situation. I was, having a rough summer, not sure where my career was going, kind of thing. And a friend sent me an AI prompt, and they were like, go to Copilot and say, treat me like a friend, be super honest, look at my emails, look at my chats, look at my interactions, and like remind me why I'm a good leader. Someone sent me this and I was like, cool, I need this today. Like I'm going in. And it gave me some great bullet points back. It made me feel all the warm and fuzzies. But as I was reading it, I was like, this is just looking at really recent data. It's not taking into account, context, or honestly, the majority of the last 10 years, or, it wasn't there for the conversations where I was people-centric, where I helped someone through a really tough day. And not that I, couldn't remind myself of those things, but it just made me think like, oh, these are helpful points, but if I really wanted someone to get to know me and what I'm good at and what makes me a good leader, this doesn't do it. This doesn't show the human side, the people side. This doesn't show the communication that I do. It's missing something. And it actually made me think of myself and believe in myself again. So it was a good starting point, but it's not going to have that context. It's not going to know, unless you continue to prompt it, right? I probably could have re-engaged it, but there's just stuff that's missing. So yes, trust the data. Yes, use the technology. But again, when I think about leadership too, it's also making sure that you're trusting in people. So it's not even just about yourself, right? The data is telling you one thing, but are you also taking the time to bring it to your teams and say, hey, this is what the data is telling me. What do you think? What was your experience? What context is the data missing? Was there a nuance in the data? Was there a nuance in the customer? Was there a nuance in the brief? That's the element when it comes to people-centric leadership. It's not ignoring the data, but it's making sure that the data, the data might not tell the whole story, and making sure that you're speaking to people who really care and trusting their care that they're going to give you the rest of the story.
Yeah. All of the AIs are trained on things within a box. Yes. Generally speaking, a square or rectangle or an email or a video or something. But it's like, then it can't possibly process what it felt like to walk into a room with the same person over 3 years, changing body language, tone of voice, all that soft stuff that we don't track. Yeah. I would actually always think that if I was going to do another business, I think there's so much wasted data from these calls, because you get your little Copilot transcript or Riverside or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like right, we shared a ton of emotions. Well, not something that emotional, but you know what I mean? This rage,
smiles, laughs, yeah.
And all of that just goes up in smoke, isn't it? And no one's using that to you. Gonna do it. If only I didn't co-run automated creative, I'd go and do that. But there you go. I could talk to you about this all day. You've really reawakened my passion for this. You know, like one of my business partners, Rhoda Sell, did a lovely post on LinkedIn the other day because talking about. She said something along the lines of like, "I'm really proud of our work." You know, McDonald's, Bose, Mars, you know, all these kind of people. But she's as proud, if not more proud, of how we work.
Yes,
and that's like finishing it 3 on a Friday, no meeting Fridays, family first. You know, all of this people-centric stuff, and to be honest, it's mostly come from her, and that's a big part of Automated Crave. It's like this is that people-centric understanding, but then I'm also obsessed with messing around with AI as well. So hopefully it's somewhere in the middle.
It's a balance, right? It's just a gentle reminder for all of us, you know, that have become so succumb to margin pressure, who have grown into leadership positions over our career. Like, think about the time when you did your best work. How did you feel? How did you feel walking into your office every day? How did you feel walking into meetings? Did you feel welcome? Did you feel encouraged to speak up and come up with new ideas? Like, there's something that got a lot of us to the positions that we're in, and usually it was somebody creating space for us. So, you know, I think human-centric leadership, whatever better marketing term someone comes up for this, you know, it's just those gentle reminders that it's not all about the data, it's not all about the technology, it's not all about the dollar signs. Like, our people are what make that, and you'll still see the same results. And I've seen that myself. When I'm the only one focusing on culture, I'm still going to see those same results. I might even see better results than those that are not, because their teams are just not as, you know, stable, not as encouraged, not working in as much of a safe space as maybe the folks on my team are. And I value that over everything.
Yeah, and I guess also, and you know, I've been in sales for getting on for 20 years. And you know, it's a brutal environment, right? There's not a ton of praise and affirmation going around. It's quite the opposite, right? You're working in a vacuum of that, and occasionally you get the win, connection, the meeting, whatever, and you know, you get all that euphoria. But sometimes it's days, weeks, months where you just keep going, keep turning the wheel. And so to remove any people-centric leadership from that scenario would be pretty bleak, wouldn't it?
I mean, I couldn't imagine being motivated in that. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of places still getting it very, very right. You know, it's not everywhere, but I think, again, you just see this shift in focus. You see this shift in vibes right now. You know, I even had a leader say, like, "Oh, tides are turning," you know, in the ad industry. And I'm like, do they have to though? Like, can we hang on? Like, can we keep a hold on culture? Can we bring back the bullpen bells that people ding? And, you know, like, there's a way to still focus on wins, but make it fun again. And I you know, I see, again, places still doing it right. And I hope a lot of us that, you know, work in those environments can continue to encourage it, or, you know, others find their groove again.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Mark Zuckerberg's announcement, but by the end of next year, he's going to automate all of advertising, and it's not going to exist anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, it's difficult when a big platform says something like that. But fundamentally, he's right if marketing is an engineering problem. And it's not. No. Neither sales, right? Yes, you can engineer outbound, deal flow, scoring, blah, 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 all that stuff, you know, we do. But actually, sales isn't an engineering problem, it's a people problem. So remove people, see how many sales you get.
And that's exactly it. And I feel like I'm belaboring it at this point, but I've seen those quotes out there, right, of like, AI is not going to take your jobs. The good people will survive, or the hardest working will survive, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but are we still enabling people to be hardworking? Or are we still enabling them to be successful and achieve things? Have we cut all training budgets? You know, like, see that a lot. Like, you know, like, are we still creating
the company social is downstairs by the coffee machine. Bring a sandwich.
Yes, like, we need to still create environments to enable that success. And sure, at the end of the day, not everyone might survive, but but did we help at all? Did we, or did we just rely on the technology? And I hope that's a question leaders are asking themselves. Like, okay, yes, maybe this is the outcome, but what did we do to enable that success along the way? And hopefully they're so focused on those internal centric tools and cultural motivators that get everybody a chance to get there.
Well, Carly, look, we've overrun, and that's because it's been good. If automated creative gets gobbled up by Mark Zuckerberg, I'm going to come and call you for a job, because I think work for you would be great. Right, if someone wants to get in touch with you, where's the best place to do that, and what makes a message that you will actually respond to?
Yes. So LinkedIn is a great place too. I'm actually /Carly Maverick. That is my maiden name. I know you're thinking, why did you change it? I know. I'm so sorry. I wanted my kids to have the same last name. That's really the only reason. And I'll stay on theme for this one. I think if you're reaching out, and please do, let me know that I'm not on some automated, marketing outreach list, because I get a lot of those. If you saw something you were interested in, if you went to my university, if you listened to the podcast, like mention it, mention a reason you're reaching out that's real, that's authentic, that's unique, that's personal, and you'll get a response.
Yeah, gosh, I have strong feelings about that. Carly, I've got to go. I would love to carry on talking. Thank you so much.
Same. Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it.